Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wizard Wednesdays. I've been waiting a very long time to actually debut this and kickstart this new series. Every single Wednesday, it will now be a regular occurrence for yourselves. Now, I wanted to kickstart this one. Again, we will jump straight into the charts in a second, but I just want to break down how these Wizard Wednesdays will be set up. So, of course, so they're not emulated in the future. And so you kind of know there's a certain pattern to how I do things, how I analyze charts, how I trade, etc., etc. So kickstarting the Wizard Wednesdays, we will always have a brief overlook of the market overall, looking at the market cap, looking at the Btc Dominance. Many of my followers who have been long-standing for several years now will know I like to go over the Btc Dominance as a good indicator of potential market direction, etc., etc. And of course, from there, we start delving into the charts. Now, the way I work in terms of day trading is I only focus mostly on XRP. However, I do like to give the BTC calls as well. The reason being is the market pretty much emulates each other anyway. So despite the rare occasion of XRP surging today, which luckily the CryptoWZRD followers in the Telegram hopefully caught as well. Many of you have sent me your profits and congratulations for putting your balls on the line and taking those calls. We are now looking at 5 trades in a row. Yes, 5 trades in a row we have managed to catch consecutively, and we have the 6th currently running now long after calling the reversal as well. So we could actually be in for a incredible week. And bearing in mind it's only Wednesday, in less than 7 days we have managed to catch 5 trades in a row. So again, just pat yourselves on the back. Do not be afraid to take some profits off the table and actually just withdraw and actually treat yourselves and enjoy the rewards of holding out through these very rocky periods in the market. Now, when it comes to day trading several other altcoins besides XRP, or if you want to just trade BTC, I will only focus on these two, and I will only give the short-term perspectives for BTC and XRP. And you can use this in line with the analysis shown, in line with your own analysis, to further dictate if you want to start day trading the likes of IOTA, Litecoin, BNB, GNT, you name it, ZRX. If you wish to do so, please go off the overall analysis from these videos. Now, the way it will work is we will start off with the market cap, etc., and the overall market. Then we will dip into BTC and XRP. Then we start covering some of the more traditional altcoins, mostly from a longer term perspective. Now, seeing as these will be a weekly series, then it makes sense to focus on weekly and intraday perspectives as well, but mostly longer term from several days to around a week. That way, when it comes to the next series, we have a nice period to catch up on and continue from there onwards. So from there, what we will be doing at the end of every Wizard Wednesdays as well is having a poll on either Twitter or Instagram, and very soon I will be incorporating, hopefully from next week, the poll onto the website so you guys can decide which altcoins you want me to cover. Now, at the end of the day, because I only focus on XRP to day trade, because that's what works for me, that's how I make my money, and for me, I am in sync with the market from XRP's price action. So for me, that works. That's why I provide the analysis on mostly that, because it helps you guys make money. If it's my most confident asset to trade, that means it will reflect down to yourselves like a water fountain, and you will also make money in the process too. So kickstarting on CoinMarketCap right now, the market cap has been quite an interesting one, but it has been steadily inclining after what is pretty much mimicking the overall Bitcoin's price action chart anyway. And I'm going to introduce a new feature very shortly to show you how to measure this in a bit more depth, minus CoinMarketCap. Now, you may have noticed today, I did post this article on Twitter, and without a second of doubt, it began to get shared all over social media. So just wanted to let you know, understandably, it is a great article. It has been shared quite quickly. So I have covered this before and many times over now. I just want to state, if you are new to cryptocurrency as well, there may be times where you are going to refer to CoinMarketCap for a very in-depth piece of analytics. However, I would suggest not doing so and using this only as a broader perspective of the overall long-term picture. Do not use CoinMarketCap as gospel, and again, it shows here anyway, the article is deeply about this matter. So if you have not seen this yet, just go on to btcmanager.com and check it out. If not, it should be dropped on my Twitter already, and if not, I will drop it on the Telegram as well. So make sure you are a member of the Telegram during and after this video so you can stay up to date with more analysis. Hopefully the 6th trade in a row We are currently running in profit on that trade as well, so things are looking pretty good. And again, this is all being documented for a much larger, bigger picture in terms of the new course that's coming out. There is a lot of questions regarding the course. Believe me, it's on the way. It's actually over 50% done now, but I am not rushing the remaining 50%. I do not want to rush this out. Despite market demands, I don't care if other courses are coming out. I don't care if anything else is coming out. I am going to release my own product in my own space of time, and I want it to be perfect. It will be a one for all. There will be no corners cut. There will be no rushing, and I will ensure there will never need to be a single course looked at again once this is out. So please bear with me. It's not easy, but we are working on the course. I'm working on this, I'm working on that, and everything will unfold in due time. But first of all, let's just cover this coin market cap and the pricing methodology. The way they measure prices and market cap, I've actually covered this in a prior article, which I do not know if it's still in existence on the web. However, this article was called The Order of the Phoenix, and many of you may have recognized this from when it went viral on the internet. This managed to gain over 50,000 views, this article, because the main concept of coin market cap and what many newbies to the market believe is that coin market cap and the market cap overall is what dictates how high a coin can go in terms of fiat valuation, and this is absolutely incorrect. Coin market cap in particular like to pick and choose how they actually measure the market cap for individual cryptos. This could depend on the circulating supply, the total supply, how much is in escrow. There are many different ways they calculate it, and it seems to be a fairly biased agenda towards Bitcoin in particular, whereas the others seem to get downplayed. Whereas if you go onto yahoo.com and check out the crypto tabs and the crypto market caps on Yahoo, you will get the true market cap realization. And I will start covering that from the next video, as it's not too important for now anyway. So having a look at the market overall, just one more refresh. XRP doing pretty good today off that long call that we posted. Again, we'll dip down into the shorter time frames later. Anyway, going to Bitcoin, fairly break-even day, nothing too significant as shown as well on the weekly. If you've seen the daily chart posted in the Telegram, you would see we're currently at a pretty good standstill region. To be honest, Binance Coin, very impressive. I will be analyzing this today as well because, I mean, I've never done this before, and the more I'm looking at this thing, it's just rocketing and rocketing and rocketing. And it's not because it's going to be some breakthrough technology, it's because of use cases, and this is so important in the cryptocurrency market. I actually posted an article and a theory earlier on Twitter as well, and it doesn't even matter that much about partnerships. The reason I like Ripple so much is because of the pathway they are paving throughout this market for actual institutional adoption, banks, governments, you name it. But what else is important for me is actual usability. Is it being adopted in a sense of it's functional, it's working, and people actually have a need to use it? A good example, and the reason I've really began to kind of push away from Ethereum, is whilst the technological capabilities are there, the blockchain itself can be used and will be used in the future, potentially to even be revamped in the future, and it does have its use cases. But we have the likes of dApps, for example, which are not doing too well. There are hundreds and hundreds of dApps, but yet the usability is at such a low rate, it kind of makes me wonder what's the point anyway. And to be honest with you, they've been around for so long now, it makes me realize maybe the use case of dApps are not as significant as we may believe. But when it comes to Binance Coin, this coin is being used every single day because to the best of my knowledge, it's offering a 50% discount. Now, I'm not shilling the coin, I do not own this myself, but looking at why it's rising so much, it's not because of speculative price behavior actually, it's actually down to its general use case, I believe. And looking at how much it's being used on Binance right now, it does make perfect sense. And it obviously will not rally forever, but whilst the market cap is significantly low, it does deserve its 7th place spot in the market. So overall, it's a fairly average day, fairly balanced. We're looking at some red, we're looking at some green. There isn't a sea of red, there isn't a wall of green. So going over to the Btc Dominance, as you can see, even though many people like to focus on the little rallies we are seeing, overall, if we were to measure this as some form of, hopefully this loads, if we were to measure this as we would with any other form of price action, you can see from even 2013, we have just been consecutively decreasing over time and time again. Of course, when the bear market occurred, we absolutely died. The market cap dominance died, and it has increased, but guess what? we are still falling over due time, and since 2018 near the end, we have just been decreasing time and time again. Where we were once at a peak of almost entire market dominance, the stability now from Bitcoin's dominance decreasing makes me very excited. Now, looking at the others, as you can see, they're slowly but surely catching up, whereas the rest, the likes of XRP, the likes of Ethereum in particular, are slowly overlapping and building their way higher. But the market overall is slowly looking to catch up. And as you can see, in between the orange here and the white here, I believe over time these are going to compress together like this, and there will be an overlap. And I believe by 2020 is when we should begin to see this occurring, when we are expecting to hopefully see the next bull run. Now, to introduce the first new feature, there is this chart here I have found on CoinMarketCap. I didn't even know this existed. This is on TradingView, sorry, but it uses CryptoCap to measure the total crypto market cap in dollars. Now, what's good about this is you have the market cap excluding BTC, and you have the market cap including BTC. Now, one thing I've noticed with this is it essentially mimics the Bitcoin chart anyway, so it does no harm to actually measure this and use this in the beginning of every single breakdown and video to kind of cover what's going on in the market overall. So using this right now, the first thing I noticed is the downwards channel, which if we zoom in on right now, rejecting this region here. And by the way, I'm going to draw the levels with you for this first one, and then moving on from Wizard Wednesdays onwards, we can begin to move these around as the episodes continue. But as of now, there has been a massive burning point. And if I actually just even get rid of this, doesn't matter. You can see that we are forming a huge wedge, and price has been compressing, touching, pulled back, and is now looking at what seems to be a breaking point from this trend line here. So the wick, we have essentially, I don't want to cheat and really drag this down. I'll see how it looks, but I do believe, yeah. So I'd rather just keep that clean and realistic instead of lying. I do believe, however, overall we are at that breaking point. If you do want to cheat and push it down a bit to make it touch the third and final wick, you will be able to see anyway, we have essentially broken through already, retested, and could potentially now rocket. So I am starting to use this, and this has been a big aid for me in potential price direction and the bias of the overall crypto market. The trend line has been holding. We're on the third bounce. We have seen many significant attempts to the upside overall from the market, and this will be our first main resistance level. So first of all, before we can really begin, this has to be changed to Wizard Purple. It would be completely unnatural to not have this Wizard Purple. I'm not sure why it's not coming out this way. There we go, nice and clean. So we have our first real level of resistance here, where wicks have been attempting time and time again to break beyond. And on top of that, let's just draw a few more levels to give us visibility on where price could be heading next in the future. So the very clear upside target is obviously this region here, which I will use in a second to correlate with BTC on a longer term perspective. So overall, I'll leave that level up there as well. And just to have a downside level, I will put a level of support in as well, as you never know, the market can still reverse at any given moment. So using this region here, we can see this is almost identical to BTC's price action, to be honest with you. So there's no surprise what's going on here. It's pretty identical. Now, on the monthly, as you can see, many wicks, many bearish candles. Now, bearing in mind, if you are new, this is my wizard layout theme. So the green candle remains bullish. The purple candle is the same as you would expect. It's just bearish instead of red. So dropping down to the daily after seeing these two very bullish monthly candles, you can see what's actually been occurring here right now. We've broken from this trend line now. We're currently retesting, as you can see, and we have spiked this many times over. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue a little further onto a slightly more intraday perspective, like this level here. And my intraday levels, I like to mark them grey just to separate and differentiate from the wizard color scheme. So overall, I do believe the market cap in general has now broken out of a major key level. There could be the usual downside attempts around this region here, but I believe seeing how well this trend line's holding, we are looking at upside overall. So it goes without saying, let's go to BTC and look at this further. As you can see, the exact same levels are here. It's the same region from here, it's the same region from there, the same trend line is in play as well. So I will not bother drawing those for now, and I will just focus on these regions here, because right now on a weekly perspective, if you have been following me in the Telegram, you can see this trend line here is holding very well on the weekly. This has helped me in the upside bias for BTC, which hopefully many of you guys caught as well. So we do have the third trend line bounce essentially occurring right now. We have the upper resistance zone, which could be fairly practical when surging to the upside as well. So drop into the daily, it's very simple to see that these levels on a much more clearer scale. Dropping down to the daily here, we have the 1, the 2, the 3, and potentially we have 4 coming through very soon. So judging from this current candle formation, we did call the long around this region here. We have pushed higher, we have pulled back. We do have a little intraday level here, which has managed to push price down to around 3,920. And as you can see here, this is the region that was covered. And if you were in the Telegram, this little pullback today, dropping down to the 4 hour, was covered, and we did precisely fall back into this target zone, and what should now be a catalyst to see our next leg higher. So I do believe when it comes to BTC, the next real rally should occur to around 4,100 to 4,120, with the overall upside target for the week being around 4,200. So what essentially could be occurring from here is a few rejections off the trend line here, a bit of volatility. Remember, when it comes to day trading, I do not like to spoon feed too much and give the exact stop loss levels. That's why I cover the certain key levels in depth for you to start learning, going off your own backs and covering your own stop loss regions. However, when it comes to take profits, I do like to give those targets because it's a nice way to take your profits and feel a bit of gratitude for holding out on several trades. So BTC right now, looking at this, what you're looking at is potentially a few spikes through this region. Just be cautious of around 3,880. But overall, I do believe we are going to meet this region next. A nice clear target, which should hopefully aid either a spike. Now, there's two ways this can play out, and I'll cover both in advance. What could normally occur and what should occur is we'll spike to this region first, pull back and likely tap the trend line before continuing to our next upside bias. Now, once we get to this region, it depends on how we get there. If we're going on a more organic, slow growth, then I do believe it could result in another pullback and a breakthrough, a retest of this 4,200 region, and using this as a good indicator of upside, using this high here as a good indicator of upside. Let's have a look at the next upside targets around here. Let's scroll down just below these trend lines here. So this is the weekly. Let's get the weekly up. So we're looking at these sort of regions here. So if I go to BTC and go to the weekly time frame perspective right now, looking at these zones here, once we break above 4,200, should we see a clean break and a retest of 4,200, I do believe the next few levels could be around 4,400 to 4,600, which we will take once we get there on the spot. However, should we see a more unorganic growth, again, we are actually kind of rising now as we speak, should we see, let's just get rid of this. Should we see a straight rise to this region, what will likely occur is a pullback, just as we've seen many times over, which could and most likely close around this region down here. From there, the consolidation will likely continue. We will still see the same pullback, but what should occur is a much more rapid explosion to the upside through this level. So as of now, I do believe BTC will sustain this level. Any downside spikes, just be cautious of around 3,880. But overall, first target number 2. Once we have broken above, which should hopefully be by the end of the week and by next Wednesday, we can dictate further from there. Regardless, the updates are always going to be provided in the Telegram anyway. So here's the overall BTC analysis for now. A nice long opportunity here. To be honest with you, I'm not really favoring any downside bias for now. And going over to XRP, the same occurs. The weekly trend line, this is what's been guiding me on these trades the past few days, and look at all of these wicks, huge bearish pressure, which tells me there must be a serious amount of liquidity at these certain levels here, from 0.34 even all the way up to 0.4. I do believe there could be a surge coming to this price region, and I am actually extending my take profit targets for now up to here, 3.8 to 0.4, just in case we see a huge explosive spike, which I do believe is coming very soon. Even in the midpoint of around 0.38 is ideal for me, and that will be a very big profitable week should we see that occur. So as you can see now, we're slowly inclining higher. The trend line is just holding as if it is gospel. Going over to the daily, as you can see again and again and again, we saw the upside spike today, which was luckily covered as well. And as you can see, there's a very similar formation occurring here to BTC as well, tapping on that support floor after breaking through, rejecting, pulling down, testing what was once resistance as newfound support, looking to climb and excel higher. The same is literally looking to occur on XRP right now. Broke above, retested, now pulling higher, hopefully on this now 4-hour perspective, which I'll drop to in a second. What you're looking at here, do have a trend line up here, which is why I was targeting around 0.34, and I do believe very soon, in potentially the end of the day or by tomorrow, there will be another rally higher to hopefully wipe out these regions, retest around 0.335 to 0.336, anywhere around this key level here, to continue our rally higher up into these hopefully much more extreme upside targets. Now, using the 4 hours as a good indicator, here is why I have entered long, and I should be in profit. I'll actually check that very quickly now. As you can see, not too much, only a little small tester account. I'm actually using this account for the course right now, but I just wanted to be transparent. I do not show profits too much. I just think it's good to actually show an account with some real money in there. Again, this is a live account. I will just there. You guys way real account. I know I don't really recommend using the broker right now, to be honest with you. They are not regulated. However, it gets the job done. So what's going on right now on this account? Huge amount of wicks occurring on this region as well. Moving averages are being met. I prefer not to really use moving averages right now, but what I have done is use the daily time frame. And again, these are a little bit off in terms of quotes, but what I'm using right now is this target here to hopefully make around $22,500 off this single upside explosive movement. As you can see here, if we start seeing rocketing prices like this, more likely than not, we are going to see 0.4 to 0.38 met, and that will be a very good trade indeed. So again, just wanted to state, you have to actually, I just wanted to be a bit more transparent. I don't show profits a lot. I don't like showing profits a lot, but it is good to show that I actually trade some real money on the side, and I wouldn't really suggest trusting anybody or any team that does not actually have their own live account or doesn't trade real money. You must always have someone there, at least shows profits sometimes here and there. Chart work is very easy. Every single person can do that, to be honest with you, and it doesn't take a genius to post charts all day. That's why so many demo traders post charts. Now, using XRP here as a good little example, breaking, again, look at this. This is what caught my attention today. Absolute perfection. Snap, snap, break above, retest. Now we've retested this zone as well, 0.32, exactly as I stated on Telegram. This could potentially be a huge upside rocket, even to 0.335. Now, should we see some resistance around this region, I will not hold on to my ego and try and excel to these targets. I will take my profits and run and call it a good week, as it's already been a very good week. So moving on to Ether, again, the same targets, and the reason I do not cover many of these cryptos too much is because the same principles always apply. However, it is good to give you guys a bit of insight and show you more of these targets anyway. So having a look at Ether right now, we are in another wedge. We have just tapped from this wedge, mimicking quite similar to BTC after tapping. Let me go to the weekly quickly. So quite similar to BTC actually, taps the upside of that trend line, pulled back, and now we are looking to hopefully climb and make a new leg higher as well. So on the weekly, we are making new highs and new lows. We are looking to reject exactly like that BTC pattern once again, but on the weekly just makes it so much more powerful. Now, downside targets to be cautious of, you've got around $120 here from a weekly perspective, but looking at this trend line here, should we break higher, I wouldn't be surprised to see another retest of this region here around $170, even breaching to $180. Now on the daily time frame, however, it does look concerningly and slightly bearish for my liking. However, I do believe this shouldn't sustain for the time being, but I would just be a bit cautious going long on Ether when you do have a bit more promising signs from the likes of BTC and XRP. So focus on that for now. Let's look at this little trend line here as well that's been forming. So it's holding right now pretty well. If it breaks, however, I wouldn't be surprised if we just smash straight through $130, retest and fly to this trend line again. So seeing as we are currently in no man's land with such a huge trend line in play here, I would just be cautious in case it just snaps hits that trend line and then breaks its way through. Overall, the entire market is bullish, but we have to be cautious of these levels. So with this one, I'd rather just stay clear for now. Even if you extend this out to here, it doesn't really make me feel any better, but we are seeing a pretty similar price action movement here. So overall, Ether, again, long-term upside targets. Should we spike this trend line? It's located around $160, but I do believe we could start breaching above and beyond. As for weekly targets, if we do see this upside movement occur, then we can start focusing on 170 and potentially breaching into those 200s. But for now, I would like to just focus more on this region, as there is a lot of resistance and support, and we're currently dead in between this trend line here. So we're currently dead in between this, and we're currently in between this, and it wouldn't be a wise region to trade from. If you obviously see the spike down, then you can just jump straight in with a very confident long position. Stop loss is just below here, obviously around $100, and off we go to the upside. Same goes for LTC, a bit more interesting. I do believe there could potentially be a bit of downside as well, considering we have just met a major resistance level of $60. Looking at this trend line as well, at least we are actually above and very far off this trend line, so it does give me confidence that from a weekly perspective, the upside target, once we break above $60, is going to be around $80, and it should be a pretty rapid movement, to be honest with you. And judging from now, it seems like we've had a double rejection, a pullback. We're retesting $55, which means we could actually blow up pretty fast. But again, I wouldn't really be entering any long positions off a resistance, despite how good the charts look overall and how the market looks. It has done this before many times. It tests, it pulls back. As you can see here, pretty similar movement to this region here. If I was to get a little rotated rectangle as a very slight example of what's occurring, what a coincidence, it's Wizard Purple. So, drawing that here, very similar movement, pretty much identical. If I was to duplicate those, yes, it does look likely, but I just like to be cautious, and this is why I do not trade many of the other pairs, because I'm more in sync with XRP. Now, pardon me, if I just draw this as well, should we actually not pull lower, we essentially have another channel ranging here, which is still needing to be met. And on top of that, there is another trend line forming here, which could break and retest this region here. So just be cautious of these targets if you are going to enter a long off Litecoin, but just be prepared. Should we break $60, there should be a very easy incline to $80 as well. Now, BNB, what a debut this has been. I've never looked at this in my life until pretty much yesterday, and I love how much it has rocketed purely because of its use case as covered before. Now, on a weekly perspective, we have rejected $15 twice now, and we are slowly descending on those wicks, which could be signs of a fairly overvalued crypto. However, in saying that, it's very similar to what XRP is doing right now. On this side, we are seeing a similar movement with BNB. So we're seeing a little incline. We've broken above $15 and we've pulled up, rejected off around 15.5. We're pulling back on the daily, and we're now holding what was once resistance as newfound support. This was not done prior. We've broken below, although I would like to see a break of this wick. That would really give me a bit more confidence on this movement here. If we can break above this wick around 1560, then I am much more confident $17 is next, because $17, nice ideal target. We've seen a lot of volatility throughout these regions as well. And if I drag this over there, you can see the wicks have just been occurring again and again in between these ranges here. So a nice upside breakout, as we can see, should lead us straight to that beautiful sweet spot of $17. However, please be cautious. Once again, buying at resistance is never a genius idea. The reason I'm long here is because we have a lot more room and a lot more wicks occurring here, and we've had a nice wick occurring here too. As for BNB, this has been a huge upside rally that has not really corrected too well, despite from this region here. So essentially, looking at this now on the weekly, I'm actually more confident, if anything, that this thing could fall to the downside. We do have a counter trend forming as well, so I wouldn't be surprised, and again, no reason to long this right now, if we break below, retest maybe $15, and actually pull back to even this region here. It really wouldn't surprise me, and it's something I would be cautious of. I would actually happily go short versus long on this pair right here, but even then, it's really not worth trading this right now, and just be careful. If you see the breakout from here, you've got your easy $17 long, but should you see more volatility, I wouldn't be surprised to start correcting back down to these regions again. As for GNT, now I'll start off on the weekly. because the way this chart is, because this goes up to God knows what dollar, it compresses the chart so small. So we'll start off with the weekly and then go straight to the daily. So there are not many charts for Gollum that are too accurate, so I use Bitrex for now. However, hopefully soon we will see some better charts coming forward with more prior price action. So as of now, we have actually broken below what obviously isn't real, below the exchange listing price of Bitrex. However, when we launched originally, it was much lower than this anyway. So having a look at this right now, counter trend on the weekly, a trend line, sorry. We've broken below, exactly like we've just done on the actual total market cap chart. We're holding, we're rejecting, and we're just, again, slowly but surely, these wicks are so bearish, but they're pushing us higher time and time again. Pretty similar to what's occurring here. So on a weekly perspective, we are looking like we are looking to push through that 0.08 zone. And if I drop down to the daily now, I wouldn't be surprised if this next candle just goes straight up to where the prior wick was and potentially even spike this 0.1 region. It really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. There is a nice little trend line forming as well. We are rallying higher slowly but surely. And if you want me to just be a bit more OCD on this as well, you've got another trend line forming just here as well. I don't want to cheat. Again, I don't really cheat too much now. You can do that if you want, but you can see there is an obvious upside bias forming. So I wouldn't be surprised if within the next day or two, we start seeing some momentum blowing up to this region as well. And just potentially even occurring and causing a pullback is good enough for me. But upside targets for GNT are very easily 0.1. Downside caution anywhere below this trend line, to be honest with you, if you are going long, just be cautious. And again, just keep favoring those pullbacks as your entries. Very simple stuff. Going over to the longer term upside bias, if 0.11 gets broken, very easily heading to 0.15. But for now, let's just take 0.10 how it comes and see how it works out. There are many news articles right now saying that the crypto market is overdue a correction to the downside. Now, I do believe that can still potentially come before 2020, but as of now, with many indicators like the market cap, it does look like we are going to see some pretty rapid movement very, very soon. So it goes without saying, let's jump to ZRX. Now, ZRX on the weekly, first of all, very interesting price behavior, and this is why I believe we are going higher now. So we have pulled back and finally retested since 2019 the regions we originally broke out from when the bull run occurred, and not even really the bull run, but when ZRX went on its own kind of bull run. And if you remember when myself and the team called this back in the day, this did actually launch to the stratosphere. I believe it was a 300% return, something like that. It was pretty incredible, great little move to see. Many of us pulled through and profited from that and had a great summer. Now, looking at this level here, breaking above this region, huge rocket upside potential. It's fallen down, it's rejected. We've slowly been making lower lows, lower highs. We've pulled down and touched 0.25 cents. Looking at what's occurring now that we finally retested for the first time ever, the grounds we've broken from, I do believe this is a good sign of what's to come. So weekly rejections, once again, very bearish, very threatening to the downside. But this huge bullish candle has given me the optimism that we could be seeing a much more rapid incline very soon. 1, 2, 3 candles here, lots of indecision. Here is what is going to be a clear indicator of what happens next. Getting rid of this level for now, actually. Again, candle formation, mimicking that of BTC. We are locked within this box. Let's make this a very nice wizard purple for the sake of visibility. Again, all it takes is a break from this box to the downside. We'll reject straight to this region again of around 0.23. Overall, I do believe there could be a quick downside spike, although I'm favoring the upside right now. And again, 0.34 on the daily time frame right now. For a slightly weekly perspective, I do believe 0.34 cents should be coming next. If it does not spike through and just breaks below, just be cautious, because once we break 0.283, we are going straight to 0.34, and that shouldn't be too much of a difficulty. Now, last but not least, we have backed the basic attention token, doing very well, very well this week and for the past few weeks for that matter. Now again, if you want to be a bit technical here, essentially where we broke out from on Binance when it was first listed, we have finally retested that lost ground as well. Bang, absolute perfection on the wicks there, around 0.1, sorry, very precise. Pulled back, bounced all the way and rocketed. Now, from a weekly perspective, very similar to, let's go to XRP once more, as we can see just there, very nice. What is happening here? Same again. We've broken through 0.18. We have pulled up all the way to 0.20 to 0.22. What's happening now is we've pulled back, we've tested this new resistance, now turned support, and what should be concurring from here is around $0.24. So let's go here, 0.24 cents, sorry, that was my bad. Again, similar price pattern to BTC. It does look like after failing to break from here, we've spiked, we've rejected this region. As you can see, it was a major wall, we broke through, rejected. Again, downside caution, just be careful. There are trend lines in play here, major trend lines in play that can go quite far out. Even if it falls down and touches this trend line, by the time it gets there, it will not still wipe out the prior low or here, so it will not invalidate, sorry, the upside potential. So just stay focused, remaining on this as well. As you can see, very similar movements, pull up, slight consolidation to the downside, explosion, slight consolidation, pull up again, consolidation, and what should be a rocket straight to 0.24. So guys, that is it for this week's market breakdown. I hope this has been highly in-depth and what you would expect and always expect from myself, and it's actually probably a bit more extravagant than it normally is, and it will be this way every single week. Now, this is where I put the power in your hands. I will be heading over to Twitter and my IG shortly. IG has been down today, so hopefully it's back up very soon. And hopefully at the time of posting this, it should be live and back up, and we can have a poll. I'll be giving a list of fairly random but popular altcoins. You guys let me know if you want some analysis for it. The most voted ones will be listed and featured in the next week, and we will keep this pattern occurring for every single week. Now, guys, until the course comes out, we will be doing Wizard Wednesdays, and there will be an exciting new feature potentially at the end of this week coming as well. Until then, I hope you're enjoying the services and you are enjoying the Telegram, the content, and anything you guys want. Do not be afraid to just drop me a message, drop me a DM, drop me a Telegram message, whatever it needs to be, whatever port of call. I know I get a lot of messages, but I promise you I will try and get through as many as I can. Your requests are basically my desire, so your wish is my command, so to speak. Let me know what you guys want, and I will make sure to provide the content one way or another. Now, guys, have a great Wednesday, and I will see you in the next Wizard Wednesdays.